everybody. This is Michael Andrade. I am the Cobra Slayer.
Third eye opening up so I can see.
Michael, the one question that I have for you is I always like to look at examples. And so we were talking a little bit earlier about a specific example that you had recently. Just for folks that are watching that, not only is it a good thing to know what your coverages can do for you, but what happens in case you have an accident, some of the what they call supplemental benefits that are out there. So I found it to kind of be an interesting thing that we had this scheduled now, and we recently kind of went through this process. And so I will give you the floor to discuss your most recent situation where that supplemental policy came in and did its job. So, sir, go ahead and run through that story.
Yeah, thank you. Interesting. My wife has insurance. We're through her insurance, through her employer, because typically that's the best. My daughter was sent home with a note by the nurse to get a vision exam. So since we're outside my wife's open enrollment, we decided to do an accident policy through me. And we did 2 visions through me. I think it's $62 for an accident policy and 2 visions. So that was on a Friday. Monday, I had an amazing slip and fall in my backyard, helping my neighbor who I paid to do my fence. I was just out there helping him out, and I took a step, and I fell 5 feet into a concrete retention pond. Got a gnarly scar here, had a big scar on my head, big bump, fractured elbow, scraped knuckles, scraped leg. All in all, I've had 3 or 4 different x-rays, 2 CAT scans, multiple medications, a sling, a cast that's waterproof. With the accident policy that we just picked out, my plans, if you're looking at a full health plan, they build in supplemental products to protect you for the most common reasons. Number 1 is an accident. So rather than you paying a high deductible or a high max out of pocket on an ACA plan or even an employer plan or any type of plan, if you have this supplemental coverage, if you're in an accident like I was, I'm going to pay $100 and I'll get reimbursed up to $1,000 for this particular accident. So it's going to save us a little bit of money for my whoopsie. Beyond that, there's critical illness protection and additional things, but the accident policy specifically helped us out so we can save some money and not be out of pocket a large amount of money for the most common reasons. We go to the hospital, which is an accident. Very interesting that happened to me right before open enrollment, right? It makes me even more passionate about what we do, because I tell you what, being in an accident, not being able to move your hands the way you normally do, it's not very fun. And it's very inconvenient because you're going to doctor's visits, specialist visits, running around town. So you're having to change your schedule based upon what's available from the doctor's office. So that's been a little bit daunting. We finally overcome all of that. But all in all, I'm very blessed because we had an accident, we have insurance, and we have that accident supplement, and nothing major occurred. The CT on my head, no bleeding in the brain, no surgery on my elbow, and aside from a couple of bruises and hurt ego, I think we're okay.
Now, you mentioned you had that CT scan. So was that covered under the accident policy or the primary?
Great question. So since these things are being done based on this injury, it's all going to be under an accident. Yep. Even if I needed a surgery, right, that would also, if this is the main cause of an accident, then that'll cover you. So I was on the lowest one. There's additional associations that are available as well.
Yeah, and I think you said 62 a month. Is that what you said?
62 a month. We have one that's our most popular product. It's $89.95. It's for the entire family. So it can be a supplement insurance to any insurance you have, It can be built into our private PPO. And a lot of the companies that want to offer some type of coverage, if they're not able to offer the full health benefit, they offer that association because they got accident protection, hospitalization, unlimited telemedicine or telehealth, and they have a whole maybe 30 other pages of benefits.
So I know that you don't have the hospital costs and the doctor's office costs, but that's $62 per month. What would you say that saved you out of pocket if you didn't have that coverage?
It'll probably end up costing us this incident. And if I need to go anything else, everything else is quoted under that, but probably about $600 or $700 so far.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that some of the CT scans and doctor's visits alone, are probably $200 if someone's out of pocket for some of that. I mean, I think in some cases that could be in the thousands. I would imagine.
Absolutely. So great point. If somebody doesn't have insurance and they can't, because we're getting a $50 payment for a CT scan because of our insurance.
So you said $600 out of pocket with where you're at currently. And then that was my question, is if they did not have that policy, how much would they be out of pocket in that case?
Potentially, if you're talking maybe $250 for a CT scan, $100 or so for x-rays, you're talking over $1,000.
Yeah. Right.
In the situation I have with someone with no coverage. So the executive diamond is a $500 deductible for up to $10,000 in coverage. And that goes a lot further than $1,000 in coverage. But we're very blessed to have it based on the situation.
Finally finding